going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to the road trip for our game against Southampton. The first game back in terms of Premier League game back after what happened a week ago. But obviously Thursday was a good night and gave us some momentum, man. And today though is, I don't want to say the real test, but there's no point in winning on Thursday, etc, getting some momentum if we don't win today. Obviously the Scousers decided to put all of the attention back on them yesterday, having some putting some little bit of cherry coke and stuff like that. But today we want to put the cherry on top of the cake. That's what we want. We want to finish off the weekend and it'll be back to a 10-point gap over them and we can just put it to bed and move on. Technically we already have, but this would just be the nice little humbler to say, you had your little time out, it's back to 10 points, yeah? But we got to make sure we take care of our own business. You know, that's what it's all about. You can laugh at others, you can get involved when the time's right, but also when the time is right, you got to take care of business. And that's what Man United need to do against Southampton. Like Erik ten Hag said, this is a side that I know Chelsea have had their problems this year, etc, but this is a side that went to Chelsea and won, and the way they did it was James Ward-Prowse free kick, bit special, and then all of a sudden you find yourself chasing the game and you don't quite get the goals that you think you deserve and you're peppering them, etc, and they can hold out. Look at what Bournemouth did at Arsenal last week. Essentially, yes, they lost the game, but they went to the Emirates and they were 2-0 up. Arsenal had to come back and fight to win in the last minute. Look what Bournemouth did yesterday. So my point being is that teams down the bottom of the league are very dangerous, especially in this time of the season, in this period of the season where there's sort of, between 11 to 12 games to go. They're fighting for every single point, and literally for them, one win can take them out of the relegation zone, etc. And for them, Bournemouth won yesterday, Everton won yesterday. So, I know Palace didn't win and, they're getting a bit closer to it. Forest didn't win, etc. But they'll be looking around and thinking, any point is anything, and they will come and play their hearts out. So we've got to be very professional today. We've got to play with the right intensity. Like Erik ten Hag says, we would need to have a top performance or something along those lines, a world-class performance or a top performance, he said, or an excellent performance to make sure we beat Southampton. In terms of managing the game, like I said, James Ward-Prowse, guy missed a penalty in the last game and said he would prefer the free kick. That's how good he is at free kicks. We know what he's on. He's on complete smoke. So any silly fouls in the 20-yard area, 25-yard area, area of the pitch from goal, don't want to be doing it, either left or right. It doesn't matter where. Silly corners. Obviously, yes, corners are a bit different because if you have to put the ball out for a corner, you do it, and everyone should be doing their jobs. But what we do know is that the delivery from James Ward-Prowse is going to be excellent, and free kicks in general from deep areas where they can whip it in. So my point is we want to avoid stupid free kicks that we don't need to give away, and we want to be, on the ball as much as we can and making Southampton defend and put them to the sword. Team news wise, I mean, Martial, you're expecting him to at least be on the bench now potentially. I know Erik ten Hag's been taking his time with it, but in terms of where we go, I think because of what's happened with Martial, there hasn't been, loads of fans saying hurry up and get him back. I think that's a credit to Weghorst. Since he's come in, he's been so reliable and dependable, and actually away from goals and stuff, which he spoke to us about the other day, which he knows he needs more of, and he got his first one the other day at Old Trafford on Thursday night. Away from that, he's just been available. His availability and durability has been his biggest attribute, because it's freed up Marcus Rashford to do what he does best, and that's coming from the left-hand side. And it's given us that focal point up front. He works hard for the team to the point where, before it was, when's Martial going to be back? Hurry up, But now it's a case of Weghorst I think he started every single game since he's come. So I don't see Erik ten Hag rushing that. I do think at fullback, for me, Wan-Bissaka, man, I'm starting him. I'm starting Wan-Bissaka. I think every time he's come off the bench, Carabao Cup final, I think he came off the bench against Barcelona at home, come off the bench the other day against Betis. He's done well and actually elevates our game. Obviously the Liverpool one, we don't talk about that, but barring that, he hasn't really been starting. I think he's been a bit unfortunate not to start games recently. Started against Barcelona in the first leg and was done really well in that game, and then didn't start the second leg. And I feel like Diogo Dalot, we're at not a crossroads, because he's still been fantastic this season, but since his injury after the World Cup, at the World Cup, he just hasn't been the same. And I think Ten Hag's tried to keep playing him into form, give him the opportunity to raise his levels. But Wan-Bissaka's been so good. It's just a complete contrast when the two of them play. And actually, Dalot hasn't been terrible, just by the high standards that he's set. He hasn't reached his groove that he reached before the World Cup, where he was absolutely unbelievable, and deserved all the plaudits he was getting. So, you know, to be honest, I can't call it, because every time I think Ten Hag's going to start Wan-Bissaka, he doesn't. He starts Dalot. But like he's been doing, you know, with the 5-sub situation, different skill sets, different moments of the game, he's been changing it, you know, one or the other, and whoever comes in has been doing a decent job. So, but I would start with Wan-Bissaka for sure. I think against Sociedad on Thursday, you know, we got a nice comfy lead there with 3 goals ahead. It would take a catastrophe to lose that game. So I think for me, I'll be resting Raphael Varane for that. At the end of the day, Erik ten Hag's going to take no chances today. This is the game where it really is the bounce back from Liverpool. It's your next Premier League game. So he rolls out, I think, pretty much almost. He might even just do an unchanged side. You know, I could even see an unchanged side. But my point is that he's going strong. So Raphael Varane, I would love to see him play. I don't see why he can't. He can get a rest in midweek. Leach are in there next to him as well. Luke Shaw, again, another one who's in the last 3 or 4 games, he just hasn't quite been, again, at the top level that, again, he set for himself. He hasn't been awful, hasn't been terrible, but there's been a few games where little mistakes are creeping in. He doesn't look his usual sharp self. You know, Paul Scholes was talking about it as well against Liverpool. He actually spoke about it in the goal that we conceded against Betis as well. We didn't get out quick enough to Perez. And then again, in contrast, when Malacia came on, I know it was a different time of the game when we're on the up, but he was winning his one-on-one duels, very aggressive, and really good in the tackle, which is what we know and love Luke Shaw for usually, and going forward as well. So if Luke Shaw needs to come out and Malacia needs to come in, again, I wouldn't mind that. But again, I just think Ten Hag will just go strong. But that could be something he's looking at. Midfield, I think it's Fred and Casemiro again. Sabitzer was in the stands next to us against Betis, so I don't even know if he's definitely back. We'll have to wait and see. So I think the midfield will be unchanged, and Bruno with a proper captain's performance in midweek as well. You know, he's going to start in the 10. And Anthony as well. It'll be good to see what happens with Pellistri as well, man. I know a lot of people are saying he should start, definitely should get more minutes. I don't think he'll start today, unless there was a problem with Anthony that was bigger than what he said. He said someone just trod on his toes. I think he'll be all right. But it'll be nice to see him get some more minutes off the bench, you know, depending on how the game's going. If we're 1-0 up or 2-0 up at some stage, whether it's early or late, whenever, just depending on how the game goes, or even if we need a goal, it'll be good to see him to come on and get some minutes as well. So yeah, the moral of the story is this. Obviously, we want to not keep talking about last week, but this is the next Premier League game from the Liverpool game, and this is the one where you really need to bounce back in the league, put it to bed and move on, and then that'll be 2 wins in a row in all competitions, and then obviously we go to Betis in good stead. So I'm predicting a win. I still think, for some reason, I don't know why, well, I do know why, James Ward-Prowse, just free kick, something. So I think Southampton will score. But I'm gonna go for. I went for 3-1 in the preview, didn't I? I'm gonna go with 3-1. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna go with a 3-1 prediction, and hopefully we can keep the clean sheet and James Ward-Prowse doesn't do anything. But he's just such a threat from that, and you just know. And hopefully De Gea is more settled today, because he really wasn't settled on Thursday, and even Ten Hag brought that up as well. So smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. KG is back from his shenanigans, from his gallivanting, from leaving me to deal with the crap with the Liverpool fans after the 7-0, and he's back from America. So keep him and the guys in the studio company on the match view. Gonna get Haley will be there, DJ and Paolo alongside KG, and obviously we will be at the game afterwards with reaction from the ground. So take care, see you later, peace.